evening. Here is the world news from BGI TV Baba Gbagede Imo TV. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. First are the major headlines for the world news. Kaduna massacre, FG approves employment of relations of slain NSCDC. We have been begging banks to pick up new Naira notes. Sanwo-Olu declares 4-day holiday for civil servants to collect PVC. Former Senate President Wise died of poverty, not sickness, says some. Ebonyi NLC TUC protests petition Buhari over alleged illegal sale of work. Police beat tricycle rider to death for refusing to give bribe in Lagos. Kaduna, 6 killed as locals attempt to fall kidnap in Zonkwa community. History made as U.S. state swears in first ever black governor. And the second foreign story, New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern resigns. Finally on sports, local goalkeepers will get more opportunities in Super Eagles. Now the news in detail. Minister of Interior Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola has approved a slot each for relations of 7 slain Nigerian civil and security and civil defense corps NSCDC officers. Disclosing these in Kaduna, the Commandant General CG of NSCDC, Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Audi, said that the Kaduna massacre was the first time the corps was losing 7 members in one fell swoop. Audi would describe the killing as colossal, however, charged other personnel not to be deterred by the ugly incident. Instead, they should continue to put in their best for a more secure country. Death is inevitable. It is heart-touching losing the personnel. Although this is not the first time we are losing personnel, it's so painful that we lose and lost 7 personnel at a time. It is a great loss. That is why I am here personally to encourage all of you to continue to do your best and not give up, he said. The corps herdsman hinted that he had initiated the process of payment of death benefits and other entitlement to the affected officers through the Office of the Minister of Interior to ameliorate the pains of those they left behind. He explained that the corps had been settling burial benefit entitlements, accident and group life insurance policies to personnel as and when due. Moving on to the next story. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says it has been begging commercial banks to pick up the new Naira note. The Apex Bank had redesigned 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1000 Naira notes, saying the old one will cease to be legal tender by January 31st. However, there have been concerns over these as the new notes are scarce less than 2 weeks to the deadline. To check the scarcity, the CBN introduced different measures, including banning over-the-counter payment with the new notes. The Apex Bank had directed commercial banks to fill their ATMs with the new notes, but yet the problem persisted. At a sensitization program in Lagos, Kofo Salam Alada, head of legal department of the Apex Bank, said the CBN will go tough on banks that continue to fill their ATM machines with old Naira notes as a deadline to chase out the new notes nears. We found out that a lot of things are happening that we need to checkmate, so we stopped withdrawal of new notes over the counter to ensure that everyone can have access to it. One chief who is known as the manager walks in and cuts away all the new notes in a particular branch. That is why we said it should be in the ATMs, which cannot be distinguished or distinguished people given out to. To the next story from Lagos State. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has declared January 24th to 27th work-free day to enable civil servants to obtain their permanent voters cards. According to a memo issued on Tuesday by Akim Muri Okwala, the Lagos head of service, civil servants are expected to collect their PVCs before the extended deadline by the Independent National Electoral Commission. He added that the governor graciously approved the work-free day to enable civil servants to collect their PVCs at designated areas. Consequent upon extension of collection of permanent voters cards by the Independent National Electoral Commission, it is hereby notified for the general information that all public servants who are yet to collect their permanent voters cards from designated ENX centers are encouraged to do so before Sunday, January 29, 2023, as it is a civic responsibility to vote, Mr. Muri Okwala said. Moving on to the next story from the world news. On a sudden note, former Senate President Joseph Wires died of poverty and not sickness. His first son, Joseph Wires Jr., has said. He said his father may have been alive if he had access to proper medical care. Speaking with the nation in Abuja, Wires Jr. also reviewed the delay in conducting the funeral of his father, who passed away at 80 in December 2021. He expressed displeasure with the committee set up by the Cross River State government to organize his funeral. He, however, expressed gratitude to Governor Ben Ayade for being responsive and decisive following the announcement of Senior Wires' demise by setting up the committee and empowering its plan to bury the father. He regretted the delay in carrying out the burial of his father, saying there is no reason he should not be buried in the next 30 to 40 days. The younger Wires said in the last 3 years before his father's death, his sister in London bore the cost of his treatment and maintaining the corpse since 2021. Wires Jr. also expressed the family's gratitude to President Muhammadu Buhari, who facilitated with his father's trip to England and provided funds for him to have access to the best medical care before his demise. However, he said the support provided by the federal government barely lasted 4 months before it was washed its hands off the matter. Moving on to the next story from Ebonyi. The leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, Ebonyi State, on Thursday petitioned the federal government over alleged fraud and illegal selling of housing estates meant for workers to politicians by mortgage banks. The NLC leadership and other affiliate unions staged a walkout from the commissioning of the housing estate project located at Ugwara in Abakaliki, Ebonyi State. The state chairman of NLC, Okechukwu Nwafo, who protested the alleged fraud rocking the housing estate project, tasked Governor David Umahi to shun the commissioning, adding that the sale of the housing estate to non-workers should be revised. Workers of Ebonyi State have been contributing through the National Housing Fund, which is being handled by Mortgage Bank PLC. Some of us have contributed for 23, 20, and 16 years of this housing estate project. Workers in Ebonyi State are not happy, and what the Mortgage Bank PLC did should be queried, and the process should be revised to make sure that Ebonyi workers were able to access the facility they've been paying for. To the next story, to Lagos State. The family of a tricycle rider, Paul Arowolo, is demanding justice over his death after he was allegedly brutalized by 3 yet-to-be-identified policemen at Atatu Surulere Area C Command in Lagos State, southwest Nigeria. Sahara reporters gathered that the policemen on a stop-and-start duty on Saturday intercepted Arowolo's new tricycle while he was going home with his girlfriend. The officers were said to have requested for bribe from the deceased, which he refused to give them. As it was learned angered the policeman, who made moves to hijack the tricycle from him. Our reporters gathered that in the process, Arolo and his girlfriend were assaulted and brutalized. The former passed out and eventually gave up the ghost. The 3 policemen of Surulere C, Lagos had linked Paul Arolo to death when trying to rob him of a new bought tricycle. He resisted and was killed, and the corpse was seized as well. A relation of the deceased told Sahara reporters. Moving on to Kaduna State from southwest. 6 locals were reportedly killed when they attempted to foil the kidnap of 2 persons in Zonkwa, headquarters of Zango Kataf, local government area of Kaduna State. The suspected kidnappers who attacked the community, according to a statement, invaded the residence of one Mr. Kalisus Eze and abducted him together with another person called Mrs. Amos. The kidnappers shot periodically when locals attempted to foil the kidnap. In the process, killed Mr. Eze, 5 other locals, and went away with Mrs. Amos, injuring others. According to the statement by Yahoo Chris Ephraim, media aide to the council's chairman, Right Honorable Francis A. Sani, earlier told courts, and today, court showed his engagement in Kaduna to visit and commiserate with the families of yesterday's unfortunate kidnapping of Mr. Kalisus Eze and Mrs. Amos, which resulted in the death of Mr. Kalisus Eze and 5 other people in Zonkwa Local Council. To foreign story. History was made on Wednesday as the U.S. state of Maryland sworn in its first black governor, Wes Moore, which also made him the third black man ever elected in the country. Moore's inauguration as the 63rd Maryland governor by Maryland Supreme Court Chief Justice Matthew Father was held at the Maryland State House, which is the oldest state capitol in the U.S., still in continuous use and walking distance from the dock that was once one of the largest slave ports in America. Moore, whose parents migrated to the U.S. from Jamaica, had defeated GOP nominee Dan Coats last November, which saw his Republican Party flip the governorship. His inauguration drew political and non-political stars, including actor and comedian Chris Tucker and Oprah Winfrey, as well as Chelsea Clinton. In his speech after the inauguration, Moore said it was hard not to think about Maryland's past and the paths ahead. We are a block away from the Annapolis docks, where so many enslaved people arrived in this country against their will, and we are standing at a capital that was built with their hands, he said. This journey has never been about making history, it's about marching forward. To the next foreign story. Jacinda Ardern has revealed she will resign as a Prime Minister of New Zealand in a shocking announcement on Thursday. Ardern also confirmed this, saying she has not had enough and the time to do it as the October national election approaches. She made the revelation at the party's first caucus meeting of the year, according to NBC News. I'm leaving because with such a privileged role comes responsibility. The responsibility to know when you are the right person to lead and also when you're not. I know what this job takes, and I know that I no longer have enough in the tank to do it justice. It's that simple, Ardern concluded. Finally, on the world news is a sports story. Super Eagles goalkeeper trainer Ike Shorumu has insisted that there are better goalkeepers in the Nigeria Professional Football League that can be the senior national team #1 goalkeeper. Shorumu made this known in an interview on Drilla FM, where he noted that the technical crew will soon look inward for quality goalkeepers in the local league. We are looking inward. We would be more of our local league because it is better we start from home. All our qualifiers are played in Africa. We have experimented enough, Shorumu told Drilla FM. But then we need to look inward back home here in our league and we'll see how far it goes. When the league settles down, we will now look into our program and fit into it their own program as well to have selected good goalkeepers from the local league. That ends the world news this hour. Before we go, some major headlines. Kaduna massacre, FG approves employment for relations of slain NSCDC officers. CBN, we have been begging banks to pick up new Naira notes for circulation. Sanwo-Olu declares 4-day holiday for civil servants to obtain their PVCs. We also brought to you, former Senate President Wires died of poverty, not sickness, says Wires Jr., first son. Lastly, on sport, local goalkeepers will get more opportunities in Super Eagles, Ike Shorumu. For more updates on YouTube, our handle is Bdùct Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access our broadcast. On Facebook, Bdùct Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Bdùct Imo _22. For advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen for advert placements only. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rebila Lawa. Good evening.
Oh, na, na, na. If you want to know what's going on in city, or you want to listen to the latest news and gist, no stress, oh, just tune to BGI TV. BGI TV, you're one in a million.